She's passionate about telling stories of amazing women who are rocking the world and empowering women to live, love, and thrive. Here's your host, Katherine Gray.
Welcome to the Live, Love, Thrive Women's Empowerment Hour, brought to you by 360 Karma. We're so happy you're joining us today. We're so happy Melanie's joining us today. She's an artist and also a woman who I call an earth angel. She's always giving back and helping the kids at Children's Hospital. We're going to talk about that. Please give a warm welcome to Melanie Kirschner. Hi, that's what happens when you're live.
It's okay. Thank you so much. You guys can call me whatever you want.
Yeah, anything. Just call me, right?
Just call me.
So Melanie, we just recently met, and I think your story is amazing, and I'm so happy to have you on today. I was just at your Melanie Kirschner gallery in West Hollywood, where you hosted all these amazing children who had come over from Children's Hospital, and you were showcasing their artwork. And it was so beautiful and so moving. There was such joy in their faces, and it was hard because they had pictures of all the surgeries they'd been through, and some had cancer and some have other debilitating diseases, and it's really the whole thought of that is so sad, and yet what you do put such a beautiful spin on it. That's why I call you an earth angel.
Thank you.
I know you give back and really help those children in so many ways. And so I do want to talk more about that. And I want to talk about your journey here from Mexico and how, as an artist, you came to have this gallery and be doing all this good work. So let's first start with, you grew up in Guadalajara, Mexico, right?
Yes, I born there. I lived there for 20 years, and I moved here when I was almost 21.
21.
Yes.
But your mom was a single mom? Yeah.
Yeah, my mom had me when she was 21, and my dad cheated, and she did great. She told him, get out of here, and she was an amazing mom. Yeah. She was very young. She was 21, and she had 2 children.
Wow.
My brother was 2 years older than me, and she did what she could, being a single mother.
Yes.
And my dad disappears.
I get so many people on this show, women, that have this story of growing up with the single mom. I mean, it is a very, very common story.
Yeah.
And it's hard. That's a hard life. But you were telling me about what your mom did to be resourceful. So when she got on her own, what was it that she was doing?
I remember we grew up, I actually never remember need something.
Yeah.
We get used to whatever we have.
Right.
And my mom's words was, I probably will not give you money and we cannot give you luxury, but one thing I will give you is education, learn how to be respectful in class. And to me, I was like, back then I was a kid, I'm like, what is she talking about? Why does she want me to sit in the table and be so respectful? But I learned it's helped me through my life, being respectful and being classy is help you. And now I told my mom, I said, you're right. People cannot buy class. You can be rich, but you cannot be learning these
right.
with money. What maybe you can, but
I don't think you can. Yeah.
She was so, I don't know. To me, it was like, when I look back, seeing children and working with children.
You to be a classy woman.
I'm like, how you can do this, Mom? Before we used to bump heads, and I'm like, why my mom? Yeah. But I realized, I'm like, wow, I admire my mom.
Yes.
To me, my mother is my hero.
I admire any woman who raises her kids.
It's amazing.
As a sole mom. I mean, as a single mom. I think that's really, or single dad, but it's hard enough to raise children with 2 parents. But,
yes.
And then, you had shared a little bit about, having the Me Too movement type of situations growing up, like most beautiful young women do, and those challenges. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes we challenge things, and I think it's just some people have journeys, Some people have a very beautiful journeys, and some people have a little more challenging journeys.
Yeah.
I will say my childhood was not like the best childhood. I will see a kid have. You know, we have a lot of challenges. Like I said, my mom was a single mother. We have somebody to watch her. Like, you know, I have like a neighbor watching me, and the brother was around, and he, you know, and before I didn't like to talk about this because I kind of block it.
I
But
think the Me Too movement
yeah.
has allowed people to talk about it.
And
Yeah.
we block it because we don't understand it until we actually tap into our feelings and we realize, wow, this has really happened to us. And we probably can embrace other women and other people to talk about what happened to help them. So to me, I was being abused by my neighbor, and I didn't realize it was wrong. For many, many years, you know, these person used to tell me, I love you, I care about you. And, you know, when you grow up, it's being part of your lifestyle.
Right.
You think it's normal and you get confused, like what
Right.
really, truly love is about.
Right.
Until I realized, oh, this is wrong.
Right.
You know, I'm bringing this pattern to my relationships, and I'm sabotaging beautiful relationships because I didn't understand, and I got triggered, and I'm like, see you.
Yeah.
Until I tell myself, I need to embrace who I am and my experiences
Right.
and work in it and help
I think that's
other
great
people.
advice. That's great
And
advice.
I help people, and I feel so happy when I see these people talking about it, because some people like compress it forever.
And I think that it's also why you do the work with the children. Like you've felt like, you know, children are so innocent and so, you know, innocent, and they don't know, like you said. So I think that all this goodness that you do comes from all of those trials and tribulations of your youth, and so you've made good things come out of those challenging things, which is a beautiful thing. Some people don't do that. Some people don't take those lemons and make them into lemonade, and so I always admire when somebody does that.
Thank
Truly,
you.
truly. Now, let's talk about, because it's such a big deal now about people coming from Mexico to the United States, you actually came here as a backup dancer for
Yes.
some Latin stars, right? So what a cool way that you ended up coming to America.
That was
And-
amazing.
Yeah, I bet that was amazing. Like, what was that like? You were, 20, 21 years old, right?
Yeah.
And I guess you did an audition and they said, hey, do you want to come to America and be a backup dancer? And
Yes, I say yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm leaving tomorrow. See you, everybody.
yeah, yeah. And also figuring out about that time that you were gay,
Yeah.
and living in that very machismo society of Mexico and feeling like maybe you couldn't be yourself. It also was a highway to get, to somewhere where you could maybe be more of yourself, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I used to be a dancer because, like I said, my mom was a single mother, and I wanted to take classes, but we couldn't afford to pay for the classes. So I went with one of my friends to watch her class, and I talked to the owner of the gym, and I said, can you help me to take free classes, and I will help you to open a group for children, and I will
my
be
God, that's brilliant.
like the assistant of the teacher. Well, past 3 months, I have 13 groups, and the gym become just for children because I fill it up. And I was 13 years old when I started.
Oh my God, you're amazing.
Yeah, and I wanted to afford my classes, and I start making money, and I start saving money, and saving money. I start training other students to take classes because they couldn't afford it. So I used to since there, I start creating the uniforms because we didn't have the money. So I'm like, don't worry about it. I get my old clothes, I cut it, I create it. My mom used to always come and she'd say, what is Melanie doing now? She's like, she's doing her uniforms, let her. She's crazy. She loved doing this.
Yeah.
So I got this opportunity to send my students to the casting. And being in the casting, I was 20-year-old, and I was like my students. That was the same age. And this lady say, why did you not take the casting? I was like, no, I wanted my students to do it. I take the casting. They like me, and I start helping them. I'm like, let me help you. Let me do this. And they're like, you want to come for a tour for 15 days? Yeah, sure. My mom was not very happy about it. She was very protective mother, and I don't blame her. After that, they offered me to go for 3 months, and after that I extended to come for longer, and I never come back, only to say hi to my family, because
Yeah, it changed your life.
I felt I finally can be myself.
Right.
Because I felt like, oh my goodness, I have to fake boyfriends, and I have to go to places and create this. It wasn't me.
Maybe not for the millennials, but most people that are gay have had to spend some time pretending to be something they're not. And that brings up a very good point. What you're saying is the joy is in being our authentic selves.
Yeah.
And people need to realize that if they have a gay son, daughter, or relative, that it's so important to let them be their authentic selves. You will only find joy in being your authentic self, never from trying to be something you're not. And so that's a beautiful story that you got to come here and be yourself. And it's interesting that you are always being a champion for kids.
I love it.
So first in that capacity, and then in coming here, I mean, and you became a citizen?
Well, I have another experience happen. I got assaulted by a homeless, and I got a special visa from the government because I got hurt. So they give me a
you
visa.
have to get hurt to get a...
Yeah, it's like, I'm like, everybody's like, do a book of your life. I'm like, nah, my life is just like everybody else. We all have experiences. But I will say, for a bad experience, beautiful experience come. Like, me being abused, I got the opportunity to help other children. Like me being gay, I have the opportunity to tell other people, come on, be gay. I think it's beautiful, be yourself.
Right.
Like, to me, I don't care what people think of me. It's like, if they like me, good. If they don't like me, good. And that was my grandmother advice. I remember she told me, Melanie, just be yourself. People will like you. People will hate you. But guess what? It doesn't matter. Because, here everybody likes you.
Well, I always say the people that like you and appreciate you, they recognize your soul. Those are your people.
Yeah, the other ones,
we always have to find our people.
Yeah, why you want negative people around you? And this is what happened. We used to attract these patterns, and sometimes we end up different situations to put us, like, don't be ourselves. So when I find the opportunity to leave Mexico, I was like, great, I can feel myself, and I feel the challenge. It was not easy. I will say I have challenges, and to me it was great to have to sleep in my car when I came here because, the opportunities comes and goes.
Yeah.
And I was like, great. So now the next time I'm sleeping in bed, it feels fantastic.
You know what? And I know many people in Hollywood have that story. So you are not alone. I mean, people that were writers, people that are famous today, they were sleeping in their cars because people do what they need to do in order to survive, to get to where they want to get. And you have a beautiful story of how you got here and have your Melanie Kirschner gallery now in West Hollywood. But I want to talk about how that all transpired. And you still had other huge obstacles along the way. I mean, your life has been... here you are, this beautiful soul doing this beautiful work, but you have had some real challenges. And I want to talk about two other ones on your way to where we are now with you today. And that is, you were in a bad car accident, thrown from a limousine, and you had a premonition about it, that something about it might happen. You were very intuitive. And that was life-changing to you. That was a big wake-up call. So let's talk first about that, and then we'll talk about the next big thing that happened, which is unbelievable as well.
I was on a trip, and I have this dream. I was walking in top of water, and I remember I told my friend, I'm like, I feel in peace. I felt the peace I never experienced, and I felt really happy.
Is this after the accident? Or?
This is the day I wake up, the day of the accident. But the accident don't happen yet. So that morning, I felt really peaceful. And I remember my friends, we was in a wine event, and everybody was drinking. And I was just admiring everybody's happiness. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I don't need to drink. Everybody seems happy.
Yeah.
And when I went to kind of look down, I saw the river. And I'm like, that river looks like the river I was walking on. I'm thinking, oh, maybe I saw the river yesterday and it was in my mind, and that's the reason I dream. I wasn't thinking of absolutely anything. We left, and we sit in the limousine, and the lady was sitting in the window. I told her, I'm like, I have a terrible feeling. I said, no, sorry. I was sitting in the side of the door, and I asked her if I can move. So I moved. 2 minutes later, when we left, this lady hit us. She was actually texting. So don't text and drive. I'm one of them. We shouldn't do that.
No, don't text and drive.
She hit our car, and I didn't have a seatbelt, so the car started going in circles, and I went out from the window. My friend grabbed me, and for weeks I have the mark in my leg with the thing. But I remember when I kind of like impact and crash, I felt this amazing peace, and I was like, oh, maybe it's my time. I don't know what happened. I don't know what it was in that moment. I leave. I don't know. It was something I never experienced before.
And is it like that feeling that a lot of people have, like that they, leave their body and come back, like you died and came back? Type of thing?
It was something I felt really peaceful, and it was very bright, and I couldn't really see, but I felt like my grandmother was talking to me, and my grandmother's always been my, every time I need something, I kind of talk to her and say, hey, guide me, and she's always there. So
she's gone.
Yeah, she's gone.
So she's from the beyond.
Yeah, she's gone. And I realized, I'm like, oh, maybe I have to do something better for humanity. That's the reason I'm here. Like, I have a chance to be here because the accident was pretty bad. So when I look back, I'm like, oh, that was pretty bad. What really happened? And in that moment, you don't feel pain, you don't feel anything. You get transferred to an ambulance, to this place and another place. I'm like, what happened? My full body is purple, green. I have fractures.
Oh my God.
It was something you don't experience, you don't know, and it's life-changing because you realize, things can happen in a second.
Yes.
And sometimes we have the power to change that second and to make it for better. I couldn't be the victim. Oh my God, I lost my job. I lost everything because, I couldn't work.
Right.
But, I make that part of what I can do next to be better, how I can embrace this experience to be better.
Is that when you started doing the work at Children's Hospital?
No, that. I just started a couple years ago because we celebrate my friend's birthday, and she said, hey, let's go celebrate my 50. I was thinking, well, she want to go drinking. Well, we end up in the hospital and the abused children. So to me, it was like, wow, this is the best day of my life. So I felt like I connect with something I'm being looking for. I always help kids.
But when you had that accident, though, you said, I feel like I'm meant to be doing something more. So you were kind of searching for what is that something more?
I wanted to help, and that's when I started realizing I need to be okay with what happened to me.
Right.
I need to be okay who I am because, back then I can see like people used to look at me, and I have friends who, I have friends for 20 years, but they used to tell me, oh my God, Melanie, your ego was crazy. We didn't want to be around you because you feel like, oh, look at this girl. Yes. And people see me now and see me then, and they're like,
wow,
you change.
Right.
But
I see you as being so humble and so grounded. And I mean, so you're saying you're not the same person.
I felt like I changed to like 100%.
Like perception is everything, isn't
Yes.
it? It's like changing the way we look at things or ourselves or whatever changes everything, changes the outcome, changes how we feel. And it's so interesting how perception is something we really have a say-so in. It's a choice. The way we perceive things is a choice, and that's the beauty of it. I think sometimes people think things happen to them, but it's really, all the things we choose to do is what creates the outcomes. And I know on the heels of your accident, a year later, you were getting ready to get married, and then your fiance woman was hit by a drunk driver.
Yes.
I mean, that is just like, how much can one woman take,
A part of me, I'm thinking, how many other things I have to receive and take it positive, because now I don't want to take anything negative. 3 days before our wedding, a drunk driver hit her, and I come to see her because the CHP called me and say, your fiance, we used to have foster kids. is here, and I didn't understand what was happening. It's like a dream. You get a phone call, you don't understand. So when I get there, I say, "Are you okay?" She said, "Who are you?" She didn't recognize me.
Oh,
And
no,
it
that's so
was
sad.
to the day today. Some days she recognized and she calls me like it was yesterday, and it's been passing like 5-6 years, and it was terrible to see her life change to that level because she was in a hospital bed on and on for a year, and in, like to try to help her mind because she lost her short memory, so she couldn't remember me because I was kind of like the shortest things in her life.
Oh my gosh, that
And
is so sad.
well,
Unbelievable.
it didn't meant to be for me, but I feel like after that I create actually a vision board, and I told myself, Melanie, just try to take everything positive. What do you really truly want, and be specific? So I create a vision board, and in that vision board I put everything I want.
I'm a big believer in vision
I
boards.
love it.
I'm
And
a big believer in it. And that's how
it
you
happens.
manifested all this. You were in
Yeah.
San Diego. You get this incredible call to do some painting here. And it leads to the gallery, the work you're doing. I mean, it's amazing. And so what was on that vision board?
And the vision board I want my art to be in buildings. I want my art to be in hospitals. I want my art to be in different homes and in different places. Not like, because a lot of people used to buy my art.
And you do all kinds of art. Like I know I've seen mannequins. I've also seen
Yes.
like paintings and.
I do jackets.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, you do everything. Yeah, it's very cool.
That's my mind. Sometimes I feel like whatever experience I have now, I discover and I recommend it to people when you feel like that trap, like you want to say so many words. So sometimes, believe me, I screwed up relationships because my mouth talk too much, and now I'm learning to just put it into canvas. Sometimes it's too
Or
late.
maybe just find someone that embraces all the beautiful karma that you put out. You're so talented. You're
Thank
such
you.
a give back, pay forward woman. And what else was on that vision board?
And the vision board was to have a gallery. And my gallery, I had got a phone call to get this job for a building. So I'm working in this building in West Hollywood, the 7th level, and I'm doing all the abstract art for the parking structure. I wanted to have a gallery with my name because I have galleries in the past, but it was sharing galleries. Now this is my name gallery, who I wanted to open to children in the hospital to do art and to other women to support each other. That's the reason I want to invite everybody to be part of my place. It's better. I like family. I'm Mexican.
Yeah, and it's Melanie Kirschner Gallery on San Vicente in West Hollywood.
Yes.
And I love, not only does it display your art like you're talking about, but also the art of children and women. You had a women's event that was fabulous, featuring all these women artists. And, you're just like that person that pays it forward, just swarming with this beautiful karma. I think all good things ahead for you.
Thank you.
And
it feels good.
What's left on the vision board? Anything that hasn't happened
Yes,
yet?
get married and have a baby. And it's funny because I feel like everything is happening.
Well, and it's on the vision board, right?
Yes, everything is in my vision
Then it
board.
already is. It's just a matter of letting it fall into place, right?
Yes, but people need to be
Beautiful.
very specific what you truly want. And when something bad happens, just take it like experience and embrace it to learn from you mistakes to do something better for others and for yourself. And this is why I help these children, because they are so, like you say, they are so pure. And I see these kids with disabilities and they don't have arms and they are in hospital beds and they're always smiling. I go to the hospital a lot. I'm like, I leave the hospital feeling, wow, my life, all the challenges I'm being talking about, that's nothing.
And I know not only do you share their art, but you like help out with the kids when they're going through surgery.
Yes.
And, you're a big help at the Ronald McDonald House there at the Children's Hospital. And you're a support system to those parents. And boy, those parents need a support system.
Yes.
So if anybody's looking to give back and pay forward and feels a calling for that,
Yeah.
they could use the help over there at Children's Hospital, right?
And sometimes these mothers don't know they having a kid is coming with disabilities, and they spend the days of their lives in the hospital, and they need someone to talk to. Sometimes it's not about like you do an event for them. It's like you got a phone call and they just need someone to talk to. Sometimes they don't understand English. Not like my English is the best, but I can help them to translate to Spanish what the doctor is saying. I'm been helping in a lot of funerals too, and this is what is very challenging, but this is what I feel like everybody comes together.
Yes.
Last year we have to raise money for one more funeral, and I'm like, we don't have any more money. Like, we all give what we have. And I went to the corner and I realized how people helps, and it's give me hope to know these children have a future for better.
Yeah.
Because, like when I see them, you see them in the gallery. They
Oh my
was
God,
happy.
they're
They
beautiful.
start
Yes.
playing. And they never say, I have a pain. And I'm thinking, oh my God, all this, I'm almost 40.
They're better than we
I've
are.
been saying my life, oh my God, my life. I'm like, I cannot be this, like,
It does
victim.
make you appreciate what you have, and,
Yes.
but it also makes us appreciate them. And what you're doing is beautiful work. I see good things happening for you.
Thank you.
Melanie Kirschner Galleries, I hope people look it up
Yes,
and
thank
come
you.
visit, see your art and the beautiful work you're doing. I just really appreciate the good work you're doing. Thanks for paying it
Thank you.
forward. And also, too, to bring up, here's another Mexican immigrant who's come here and made America a better place with the work she's doing. And I think that's an important message in today's day and time. So
Thank
happy that
you.
you moved to the U.S. Make it a great week, everybody. Give back, pay forward, hugs and happiness.